If you're a junior or senior in high school getting ready to take the SAT and you want to score a 1450 or higher, I'm going to tell you the timeline that you need that will guarantee that 1450 or higher. Hi, I'm Shanna, CEO and founder of Sharp Sessions, and I've helped students get into their dream schools fully funded. And so today I'm going to help you to kind of get a visual on the timeline you should be using to prepare yourself for the SAT in order to maximize your score and get above a 1450. So I'm going to share my screen so that you can visualize it with me. Okay, so hopefully you're watching this as a junior, right? And so let's kind of do the timeline here. So the perfect time to start preparing for the SAT is when you have just completed your 10th grade year. And so we're entering the summer, right? Or the summer before you start your junior year. Okay. So this is your junior year in high school. Okay. And why is this important? So when it comes to the SAT, there's quite a bit of content that you're going to be, I guess, quizzed on or tested on. And so those content, majority of the students might not see them until after their 10th grade year. Actually, some students don't see them until after senior year, which is okay. But majority of them you will see at least by the end of your 10th grade year. And people might say, well, as an incoming junior, you might not have all the sufficient material that you need. Well, if you're in the correct or the right prep course, you still should be able to fill those gaps. In our SAT prep course, we do a comprehensive overview of the exam. And so as a result, even if our incoming juniors are not fully equipped or have not fully seen these content material that will be on the SAT, we give it to them. So if you're self-prepping, just make sure you're looking at what topics are being tested on the SAT so that if you're at your summer, that's the sweet spot. Before your junior year, that's the sweet spot. And so if you're there, you can start prepping for the SAT. And so you start prepping. And so let's continue here. So you start prepping. And what happens here? You're prepping in the summer, and then August, once you start your junior year, you take the SAT. So let's put that up here. Okay, you take the SAT. And so this is you prepping here. Prep for SAT. And then in the summer, or well, August, you take your SAT. Now, one might say, well, there's a lot going on in August. Well, this is just an introductory point for the SAT. Now, I've seen where some of our students as juniors, they go really hard that first time. And as a result, their first score, some of them, not all, is their highest score because they take it very seriously. And hopefully you are too. But for others, the first SAT exam is like a jittery exam. And it's an exam to bring you up to speed so you can kind of see what to expect next time you take the exam. And I'll take this brief note to say it is okay if you have to take the SAT multiple times. In fact, we encourage it. And at max 3 times. We definitely encourage that. But this first time here, when you're entering your junior year, you get warmed up to the SAT. And so you kind of see, okay, I got to take this serious, or, oh, I got this type of thing, depending on how you're prepping and who you're prepping with. So let's say, hypothetically, your goal is to get a 1450 or higher on the SAT, and you took it that first time and you didn't make that score that you were looking for. Ideally, what we would say is you can wait. So the first time that you'll take it is in the August SAT time period. Now, for our clients, our students, they're typically athletes and they're in a whole lot of extracurricular activities. And most of those activities are very much in their prime in the fall semester. So we typically say, okay, take a break and regroup. Okay, take a break and regroup. So ideally, If you want to say retake the SAT and get your best shot, okay, now we've taken it the first time, we see what our downfalls are. We suggest March to be the next SAT. And so this is the March of junior year. So now by then, you should be well in the content that you, let's say, may think, oh, I didn't see this before. You should be well in that content by now. And so what we suggest here is, okay, you take the SAT the second time. March is usually like to prep for it, you're using January, February, a part of your winter break maybe, and then February maybe. And then you get into March, it's usually like the first week in March, and you take the exam. And so this is your second time. And so for here, you're now filling your gaps. We usually say be sure to order your test scores, the breakdown of it, so that you can see where you did well, didn't do so well, so you can know what to focus on for the next time you take the exam. That's for the first one, of course. And so March, you're taking that second attempt. Remember, we said at max 3 times. So now we did have a student who took the exam the second time in March, and he wanted to go to a really high top school. And so they didn't even look at your application if you didn't even have a 1400. And so he was very adamant about getting that 1400 or higher. And so his second time, he was I think he was like 10 points off. And he was like, nope, I got to take it again. That's okay. So what we recommend for that third time, so, okay, March is this is your first take. Okay. March would be your second take. March would be the second take. And then what do we suggest? We suggest now the final take. So this is August of junior year. Let's make sure we say that. And so now the August of your senior, let me spell it out, of your senior year, that should be your third and final take. Now, is this to say you cannot take it 4 times? Absolutely not. We don't recommend it, however. So what's the point of this? Now, we suggest that you take it for the third and final time the August before your senior year, because we know what senior year entails. It's a lot, especially if you're an overachiever, or if you are applying for a lot of schools, and if you're applying to get early decisions, right? Some of the early decisions start in October. And I know that the September SAT is now a thing. However, the scores don't come back in time. So we do suggest taking it in August of your senior year to make sure you get all the scores back in time so that you can apply to those top schools, or just schools to get really first dibs on the scholarships, because that's what really matters. So yes, senior year, August of your senior year, it should be your last take. And why I say this, again, senior year is jam-packed with a lot of things. You're taking senior pictures, you're doing some people get senioritis, and senioritis is you are a senior now and you just don't really care about what's going on in life. You're just like ready to graduate. Don't do that. But some of us, we get that. And so, yes, senior year, applying for scholarships, doing your extracurricular stuff, being a senior, right? That's the thing too. There's a whole lot of things happening. And so you don't want the SAT to be one of those things that are a part of those things. So get it out of the way so that you can be a senior, apply for your schools, and be done, right? So now, this is not to say if you are now a senior and you're watching this video that there isn't a certain timeline for you. You can also take the exam in August if you're just watching it, you're a senior about to enter into your senior year. Do take it for sure August, right? Which we are prepping for some of our students right now for the August SAT prep course. And then your second time will definitely encourage October. September is too quick. October should be your next take. And then you should get your scores back in time. So we would give you a two window period for the SAT to get that 1450. And so remember that final time would be where you're tightening up your loose ends, your screws, whatever you need to tighten up to get that 1450 plus. And we've seen students get these points, get to where they need to with that third try, because they just really hump over because they get comfortable with the exam now. And so, yeah, it's like, okay, I know what to do. I got this. Let's go. So just to recap, I like to do a recap so that we kind of go over what we discussed. We kind of went over the timeline for taking your SAT. So again, if you want to get 1450 or higher, this timeline is really something that you should consider. So first you want to take it, the start prepping really the summer of your junior year. And when I say the summer of your junior year, I mean the summer entering your junior year. So you've just finished 10th grade, you're about to go to junior year, start prepping. Your first take should be August of your junior year. Then if you need to take it again, your second take should be March of your junior year. And then your final take should be your senior year, okay? Your senior year, August of your senior year. All right, so I hope you found this helpful. And again, this is not to say if you are a senior that you cannot follow a timeline. If you're a senior and you have not taken the SAT at all, and you're considering to take the SAT and you still want to get that 1450 or higher, that is okay. Just make sure you don't miss that August SAT exam. And who knows, if you prep with us, then you probably would get a good score. But if not, you might want to take it October. And so if you take it in October, that would be a way for you to maximize your score, or super score is what we call it, so that you can still apply to some of those early decision, early deadlines, and get into your dream schools and get qualified for scholarships. All right. So I hope you found this video helpful. Do like, share, and subscribe. On this channel, we try to build the wealth gap by sharing knowledge about how to prep for college, really, so that students can go debt-free and graduate without debt. And also, we try to build a wealth gap by sharing wealth information. So do like, share, and subscribe with other people who you think might find this helpful. Until next time.